So Hormozy just dropped his concert, which I watched. Thought it was great. And he's dropping this book, $100 million Leads. And one of the boys on Twitter, shouts out to Logan, put up a great tweet. And he was talking about market sophistication. And now this is something that we've already been experiencing. But if you guys don't know what market sophistication is, it is when more people enter a marketplace, and I'll put it in layman's easy terms here. More people enter the marketplace, so it becomes harder to compete in the marketplace, meaning you have to get good. Now, I grew up playing video games. I grew up playing Call of Duty, all different types of video games. I was really, really, really good. And I remember being like 11, 12, 13 years old in the lobby when you quick scope somebody screaming, "Get good, kid." Everybody screaming, "Oh, get good, get good, get good." My advice to you guys who are just starting out in business is to simply get good. Now, every single person in the marketplace, especially in the make money online space and the business space as a whole, is going to be following these rules in this book, right? But the thing is when, and especially with information, the thing is when you release information, only a small fraction of the people who actually receive the information are going to go and execute on it. So let's think about this. So let's say you have 1 million people go and buy this book, these strategies of talking about content ecosystems and different things like that. Now, are people going to produce content? Yeah. Are they going to be producing more content soon in a month or two or 6 months from now than the content that's being produced now? Yes, because the marketplace is going to become more sophisticated. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I want to talk about how people are going to be able to stand out in the marketplace and the content economy. Now, I have never been the biggest fan of sitting in front of a camera and talking. Even though some people say I'm good at it, some people say I suck, it is what it is. But you have to always think about what comes next. And the way you receive a competitive advantage and the way you create a competitive advantage is very much like sales in general. And I'm going to compare this to sales. Your job as a salesperson, when you're cold calling, when you're pitching somebody, whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever product it is that you're trying to sell, whatever offer it is you're trying to sell, your goal as a salesperson is to create leverage from thin air. Now, there's going to be a ton of people coming onto the marketplace and doing short form video content, doing long form YouTube, doing scripting, and all these different types of offers. You have to become indispensable. And the way you become indispensable is by doing something called skill stacking. Now, what is skill stacking? Now, people who get successful or they become successful, they usually do it by doing a couple different things. Now, they usually have hundreds of different skills that they've acquired over their lifetime, over the business career, over their life, right? Every single thing that they do is a skill that they've acquired, usually by doing. Because a lot of the time, you have to go out into the world, and actually no, 100%, scratch that, 100% of the time, the skills that you are going to master are the skills that you actually use to go out into the world and you learn the skills by doing. Now, if you go and you learn how to fix a car engine on YouTube, I am probably never going to pay you to do that. I'm going to go down the road to the guy with greasy hands. I'm going to go down to the mechanic shop. I'm going to say, "Can you please fix my car?" Like, if you learn something, it's not the same as doing. You have to go and do all the things that you are saying or you're trying to learn. There's no other teacher better than experience. And so you have to constantly iterate, and iterate. You have to adapt, evolve, and you have to overcome. And this is how you beat market sophistication. Because as more people enter the marketplace becomes even more globalized than it already is. The internet has democratized every single point of business. You can find guys in the Philippines, you can find VAs, you can find people in India, Pakistan, anywhere in the world who are willing to do a job cheaper than the people in the States, than the people in Europe, than the people in Ukraine or different parts of the world. And so the entire marketplace has become completely democratized. So you have a differentiation between high-skilled workers and low-skilled workers. Now, the lower-skilled workers are going to be able to do the job cheap, and they're going to probably be able to do it fast. The higher-skilled workers are going to be able to do the job well, but they're going to be more expensive. Now, you have to think about you as a beginner. Where do you fit in? If you have no skills, if you have no experience, if you read Alex Hormozy's book and you're ready to start making money. So You have to go and develop skills. My advice to you is to look at what other people are doing in the marketplace. My Twitter DMs are filled with every single person with the same goddamn pitch. I see you're doing content, but I really like your content, but I've engaged with your content, but it's all the same thing. But I really like your work, but I see that you're not doing short form, whatever the fuck, right? You think about this. Everyone is doing the same pitch. No one is standing out. So what do? I ignore every single person. Because guess what? If it was a priority for me to do that, I would be doing that. Luckily, I'm working on some other things that don't involve content, but I decided to make some content anyway because I'm starting to enjoy it. Now, how do you stand out when it comes to market sophistication? You have to simply, like I said at the beginning of this video, you have to get good. Now, if you don't have skills, you need to acquire skills. How do you acquire skills? You get basic information. Basic information can be found on YouTube. It can be found from joining my program where it's a little bit more accelerated. It can be books, anything, right? You want to learn from people who are established in the space, people who know what they're talking about. So when you go and get these skills, it can take about 3 days. Read the books, go through the course. There's amazing information out there. You take that information and you immediately implement it. And I can guarantee if you sit here as a consumer of content, 24/7 sitting there, YouTube, Twitter, reading, TikTok, oh, here's how you make money, here's how you do this, here's how you start this business, this business, this business, right? 25 different business models you can choose from. What ends up happening to you is you become a consumer rather than a producer. And you have to get out there and start to acquire the skills and actually start to get active and do the things that you're saying that you're trying to learn how to do. Now, here's my advice. You spend 2 or 3 days, you go through a course, you go through a couple books, and you start to acquire the skill set. After you acquire the skill set, you need to now figure out how to get paid. Now, how do you go and get paid? You have to sell something. Now, once you do that, you start making offers to people. But you want to take a look at what's not working, and you want to change it. And you always want to think about, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? How can I make this easier? How can I make this more straightforward? How can I get better and better and better at pitching the people that I want to talk to? How do I find the right people? Are they doing this already? These different questions, right? And your job is to create leverage from thin air. Now, you also want to do some research on the people that you're going to be reaching out to. My DMs, like I said, are flooded with people trying to pitch me on the same fucking service. Every single one of them is not even a person who follows me telling me that they've engaged with my content. So I know it's copy and paste. That being said, you want to actually genuinely do research. You maybe want to provide some value. You maybe want to do some stuff for free. And you want to also, if you do stuff for free, it allows you to build a portfolio of work that you can start to send out to the more people that you pitch, right? So market sophistication is circumvented when you can create an ecosystem that works for yourself. One hand washes the other, washes the other. As you start a business, you want to make things easier on yourself. If you are incapable of making things easier on yourself 6 months down the road, then you shouldn't be in business in the first place. If I was to go and pitch people on this short form stuff that everyone is doing with the automated templates on CapCut and every little trick in the book, right? What I would do is I would probably work for free, I would make some work, and then I would create a portfolio of that work that I did for free on every single person that I pitched. And then I would send it out to more people that I pitched. Here's some work, here's some work, here's some work. We can do it for X amount, right? The thing is it is a commodity. That entire service has been commoditized. So you have to start to think about what is next. If you're doing short form, and since it's been completely commoditized by every single 15-year-old on the internet, you have to start to think, well, now you can get into scripting videos. You can think about helping them create an offer. You can go down the line. You always have to think, how can I make this better? What's next? What's next? What's next? So if you're a short form content guy and you are trying to compete in a completely saturated market that exists currently, the market has to become more sophisticated. Now, if you're doing short form content for other people, switch it to you talking about how you're doing it and your processes and your systems. You can kind of gatekeep. You don't have to gatekeep. But if you do that and you're able to build that portfolio of work and send it off to the people that you're pitching, you're creating leverage from thin air. This is easy, basic business 101 stuff. You have to be better than the next guy. and you have to show why you're better than the next guy. If you're unable to do that, then you shouldn't be in business. You're going to lose because business is war and business is absolutely ruthless. So that's just an idea there. But you always have to think, okay, if you do one thing, how can you make the next thing easier? How can you make the process easier? How many more things can you add that are complementary to your service that you do that you can absolutely achieve and that you can do step by step, one by one? So if you're one of these guys that are pitching everybody and their mother, you go and okay, now we're going to script your videos, we're going to come up with content topics, we're going to do this, 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 and this. Then we can do all of this stuff. We can record it on Zoom and then I'll chop it up for you if you're remote, or if you're in person, you can sit down with the camera and do X, Y, and Z. And so you have to start to think, okay, well, what is the skill stack that's required in order to make that business successful? So not only do you need sales, you need basic sales abilities, you need probably advanced sales abilities now because the entire market is so sophisticated. But then, okay, now you need to be able to be a copywriter. You have to learn copywriting because now you have to you can script the videos and make it easier on your client and then ask them targeted questions if it's an interview style thing, or you can script the content like this and we're going to say, okay, well, this is the point and this is what we're trying to achieve. And then here's how we wrap it up. Here's the potential offer that we're going to run traffic to with this. There's a ton of different other things, right? Strategy, different kind of editing, all of this different stuff exists, but you have to be able to do that. Because that service has been so commoditized, same thing that happened to e-commerce email marketing or lead generation or cold email agencies, all of this stuff happens and you become literally one of the many. You want to be one of the few. And so the way, like I said, that you get around market sophistication is that you simply get good. So that's my advice there. Couple other things. A lot of people are going to use these strategies and a lot of people are going to use this content, and especially what Hormozi did, and it's going to completely saturate the market and everyone is going to be doing the same thing as everyone else. My advice to you is to sit and always think 1 to 2 steps ahead. How can you make the product better? How can you make the service better? How can you do better marketing? What other little things can you do in order to do that thing, like I said, which is create leverage from thin air? Because that is what gives you your competitive advantage. That's how you walk the line. That's how you walk the edge. That is how you become the best in your industry. There's a couple guys who are fucking killing it right now. But you have to start to think, how do I become the best? Because when you become the best, you can start charging more. You can start commanding higher prices. You can start getting better clients. And instead of doing work for $300, now you can do work for $3,000 or $10,000. So all of these different things are things for you to think about. So these are just my thoughts. As people are going to come into the marketplace, everybody is going to start to create content. Everyone is going to have omnipresence. Everyone's going to be on TikTok. Everyone's going to be doing long form on YouTube and shortening it down. You really want to just create an ecosystem that works for you. And you want to continue to make things that are not only good, but that give you an edge. If you can just sit down and you can say, okay, well, I want to do this because this reason. And you look at your entire business as an ecosystem. How can I improve on these different things? How can we do better scripting? Can we create different SOPs for the scripting? Can we create a pitch deck? Can we create a different kind of sales video? Can we make the sales letters better? Can we make the VSLs better? Can we make the landing page better? Can we make our offer better? How can we iterate and how can we change and go one step further and constantly improve throughout our process over and over and over again? These are the things that you guys don't think about. These are the things that create multimillionaires versus the 5K a month agency guys who are just starting out, which, all respect to those guys because you guys are making money. But if you're in this game to really be a player, then you have to play the game. And because business is ruthless and because it's fucking war, you have to be better than the next guy. Your marketing has to be better. Your videos have to be better. Your service has to be better. You have to genuinely sit here and become world class. And if you can't become world class, then you have to figure out how to become world class because there's no other option, because you are going to get crushed as new people enter the marketplace. The more people in the marketplace, the harder it is to stand out. So you're going to have to put more work on the front end and more work on the back end. And it's going to be an absolute headache in order to actually go and stand out and actually grow to the point that you can grow now while people are still going to scramble and get their bearings and try to figure it out. That's my advice. Those are my thoughts on this whole market sophistication thing. It's going to be easy for you to stand out if you're good, and the cream always rises to the top. And it's going to be very easy to separate the wheat from the chaff and see who's good and who's not. And if you're not good, you better get good or you're going to get crushed.